Hey, yo. So today I came across this post that said too many brands are focused on being content creators and not focusing on the product. I don't know, I'm kind of adding my little feedback. This is one of those shorter videos, so I figured why not use it as an opportunity to, one, give some game, my perspective, see what y'all think, and have a discussion on the topic. So let's jump right in.
I think Jordan Bentley
He's like the biggest Jordan.
Give y'all a round of applause.
So first things first, do y'all feel like brands are too focused on creating content, or what's the problem with that? In the post, it outlines how competitive the space is right now for brands to be successful and how the algorithm favors more creative storytelling content that is often not so much focused on the product, but is really focused on, I guess, like the performative nature of the content itself rather than the actual item that you're selling. Whereas I agree with that, there are also screenshots inside of the post that go in on how people should be focused less on being founder or content focused than they are being the brand. And my argument is that the two are not mutually exclusive. You can have someone who is a great founder who also is focused on video, who is also focused on getting the storytelling out there. And to be honest with you, I would argue that playing into the nature of the video or like telling more about your story, blah, 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 only aids to the growth of the business. Is not, I don't think it's a bad thing. So I'll say like this. I think that there's a couple different layers on this. So first and foremost, from a business perspective, I think that focusing on the marketing itself is not a bad thing. If you are trying to differentiate yourself or sell more product, you should be adapting to what is working well in a social landscape. So if that is making videos, then be the best video maker, because otherwise, how else are you going to separate yourself from the other brands that are making something similar to what you're doing? On that same end, I think there are advantages to making videos and doing founder-led content, and I do think that you can be a leader that has both without diluting your brand. So first and foremost, I speak on team all the time. If you have a good team, someone who focuses on making good content and video, but also having like a good sense of direction for where you want the product and the thing that you're making to go, it's possible for you to have great video and great product. The two, you don't sacrifice one for the other. You can have all of that. I mean, I think the greatest brands literally have a good handle on all of that stuff. They have great storytelling, great product, great marketing, and they have a great founder-led thing. You can look at someone like Apple and Steve Jobs. Obviously, he is the pinnacle for success, but it's innovative because he understands all of those things. Or even on like a smaller scale, I think I look at someone like, also I say like this, before I jump into the smaller scale, I think that having this founder-led content is great because it gives consumers a way to buy into your brand and into the lifestyle that you're creating for your product. So as an example, right? I think nowadays consumers are a lot smarter. They understand like what goes into making product. They are now more specific what they're buying. They're buying things based on their niche. They understand just the process and they want to support people that align with their same interest. I think that having videos and things that are informative that teach people about like your brand, your lifestyle, you as an owner, aid to that. It opens the door for your community to understand who they're buying from and see you as an active participant in that, and they want to support the person they want to support the person that founded it and support their vision and align with their same interests. I think we're beyond the days of the mystery brand owner where you have the guy that just kind of stands behind the scene and makes good product. First of all, good is subjective. So the thing that you may deem as good may be trash to somebody else. But I don't think that culture or community or niche or lifestyle are something that can really be faked as easily as you could just a good product. You know what I'm saying? I think that when you kind of show that lifestyle and you show how authentic you are through the lens of a brand owner or like your day-to-day life or the things that you actively do, it gives people that insight to say, hey, I like this guy. I like what he represents. I'm going to support it. I mean, look at Emily Oberg. I think she's a great example. I think Sporty and Rich embodies exactly what she's into: health, wellness, matcha, tennis, all that stuff. And her brand is an extension of that. When you look at her, you see her brand through that. The product that she makes, the lifestyle that she creates, the photos, etc. It's all her. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like the founder-led content just aids into that. I mean, at the end of the day, people are trusting the brand owners or leaders to be leaders and kind of shift their direction for like the things that they want to support, you know? So I don't know. I don't necessarily know that. Somebody also said to me today too that the artists are struggling as a result of the algorithm favoring more artistic content. I don't disagree with that either. I think that on that same end, the algorithm favoring more performative content like movies and videos makes it more difficult. But I think on the same end, I don't think that I don't think that it's ultimately ending success for artists overall, and it really just forces people to make better stuff. Now, there are tons of brands that make good stuff, but are not in the forefront because their stuff isn't groundbreaking. On the same end, there are tons of artists that are still blowing up because they're making groundbreaking stuff. If something's groundbreaking, it's gonna get shared regardless if you make it a video or not. If something's fire, people are gonna put it on their story, they're gonna send it to their friends, they're gonna send it to people that they believe will like it because it's great stuff. I think even like brands like, for example, Came Up in a Drought is a perfect brand. When they make these products that are super viral, they don't make crazy reels behind it. They just put the picture up and the product speaks for itself. It gets shared, people like it. There are tons of ways that people find the product, and they're not making any corny videos. So I think that, whereas the algorithm favors this type of content, I think on the same end, it still comes down to the principle of like the best product will last, and the things that are truly groundbreaking will separate themselves from everyone else. I think that the algorithm favoring videos and stuff like that makes it a little easier for the person who is trying to do like a cash grab, for sure. But I think saturation in the market is always going to be something that exists. I think that really, to be honest with you, my perspective, having all of this competition, saturation, and even the algorithms just forces you to make better stuff, because if it's not good, guess what? You're just a flash in the pan like every other brand. How beyond content can you separate yourself? Because I think even on the same end too, if you're making the same content that's working right now, this is only going to work for so long, and eventually people will see through the veil that you've created for your brand. The smoke and mirrors will disappear, and now all of a sudden you'll be another brand that's just kind of like figuring out. Versus like the real innovators are the people who are really making groundbreaking stuff. Those people are going to last, and they'll be successful and build these communities beyond just making these typical products. Biggest issue that I have with this founder-led content is that I feel like there are a lot of people who are making these how I did X, Y, and Z videos without any credibility. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of kids that have changed their lives from selling t-shirts. But just because you sold $100,000 of one t-shirt does not mean you are a credible source to be teaching anyone how to run their business. You may have gotten lucky. You cannot replicate that luck. A lot of times you'll have these people who find success through one product but don't see that same thing overall. We need more people who are in the space that are actual leaders with experience, that have gone through things, gone through different ways, have lasted years and years and years, that can actually give feedback and have seen the climate and landscape change a ton, but have successfully navigated these landscape changes to actually add insight and be creative and add to just overall brands. One perspective that I got was that because the algorithm favors BS, you have a lot more saturation in the marketplace. And I think that the marketplace is saturated because information is easily available, not because the algorithm favors that. I think because the algorithm favors that, it makes it a little more easier. It makes it a little easier to be successful off of the BS, yes. But I think on that same perspective, that again, there will always be some level of saturation and people who make bullshit, and eventually that BS comes in waves. It's like making a brand may be the new meta right now, but that's not gonna last forever. And on the same end, if you're doing good stuff, the good stuff will last regardless. I think that these algorithms force you to make better stuff, whether it be better video, to do better marketing, make better product. It forces you to figure out how to separate yourself in a sea of saturation. I'm a big fan of competition. Competition is good for the community. You know why? Because it forces and holds brands accountable to make better stuff. Because if you see that same knit 7 different times, yes, it may be one knit that'll sell better than the other ones, but that's not gonna last forever, and it keeps you constantly innovating. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that founders are focused too much on content creation? Do you think that the algorithm favors too much content creation stuff? Do you feel like we should get back to the mystery brand owner? What's y'all perspective? It's a quick little video. Let me know what y'all think. We out.